Two men are found dead on a hillside in Rio de Janeiro. No marks on their bodies, no signs of struggle. They're dressed in matching suits, lying side by side, peaceful, almost arranged. Between them, an empty water bottle, two wet towels, and a small notebook. The notebook contains one handwritten sentence. 16:30, be at the agreed place. 18:30, swallow capsules after the effect begins. Protect metals, wait for the signal mask. And on their faces, lead eye masks, the kind used to block radiation. Police, investigators, journalists, everyone who touched this case eventually said the same thing. The more you dig, the less sense it makes. After nearly 60 years, no one has ever explained what happened on the Vintém hill on August 20th, 1966. And the deeper you go, the stranger it gets. Let's start at the beginning. It's a Saturday morning. A young kite seller named José da Costa Alves is climbing Morro do Vintém, Vintém Hill, just outside Niterói, a city across the bay from Rio de Janeiro. It's a working-class neighborhood. The hill is scrubby, unremarkable. José is just a kid looking for a good spot to fly a kite. Instead, he finds two dead men. Police arrive and find the bodies of Manoel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel José Viana, both in their 30s, both from the same small town, Campos dos Goitacazes, about 170 miles north of Rio. They're wearing formal suits, waterproof coats, lying on their backs. No visible injuries, no blood, no obvious cause of death. Next to them, an empty bottle of water, two towels folded neatly, and that notebook with the cryptic message. And those lead masks, crude, handmade shields covering their eyes, fashioned from the kind of lead sheet used to protect against radiation exposure. The medical examiner cannot immediately determine cause of death. The bodies are too decomposed. They'd been there several days in the summer heat. Toxicology would take time. And when it came back, the results were inconclusive. Whatever killed these men left no obvious chemical signature the tests of 1966 could detect. So who were they? Manoel and Miguel weren't random victims. They were electronics technicians, skilled, respected in their hometown. By all accounts, normal men. Good workers, family men. But the week before their deaths, something changed. On August 17th, 3 days before their bodies were found, witnesses saw them in Niterói. They'd taken a bus from Campos, a 4-hour journey, and were seen buying raincoats and, crucially, an empty water bottle. They also stopped at a bar, where a witness reported they seemed anxious, checking their watches repeatedly, like men waiting for something. Or someone. They bought the water bottle at around 3:15 in the afternoon. Less than 2 hours later, at roughly the time matching that cryptic notebook entry, they were dead on a hillside. Now here's the part that opens the real rabbit hole. Friends and colleagues back in Campos confirmed that Manoel and Miguel had recently become deeply interested in spiritism, specifically a Brazilian esoteric movement blending Kardecist spiritualism with UFO contact beliefs. And they weren't alone. An entire community of like-minded people in their town shared this obsession. The idea that extraterrestrial intelligences were trying to make contact, and that certain rituals or chemicals could elevate human consciousness to receive these communications. The lead masks weren't protective gear in any traditional sense. They were ritual objects. Brazilian police launched a full investigation, and what they uncovered was equal parts fascinating and baffling. They found that Manoel and Miguel had been in contact with a small circle of people, electronics workers and amateur spiritualists, who believed they had developed a method to make contact with beings from another dimension or another world. The method allegedly involved ingesting a substance, likely a hallucinogen or psychotropic compound, wearing lead shields to protect against energy or radiation emitted during contact, and waiting in a specific location at a specific time. A meeting, essentially, but not with anyone from Earth. Investigators tracked down members of this group. Most were cooperative but vague. Yes, they knew the men. Yes, they shared these beliefs. No, they hadn't been on the hill that day. No, they didn't know what happened. One former associate made a claim that has haunted researchers ever since. There had been a third man on the hill that night. Someone who left before the bodies were found, who may have witnessed whatever happened and was never identified. No third body was ever found. The notebook was analyzed extensively. The phrasing, "After the effect begins, protect metals, wait for the signal," reads like instructions for a ritual or an experiment. The kind of language you'd use if you believed you were preparing for contact with something beyond human understanding. Cause of death was never officially determined. The investigation was eventually closed, unsolved. So what actually happened on Vintém Hill? There are broadly three camps. The first is tragic misadventure. Manoel and Miguel took a substance, possibly a homemade hallucinogen, possibly something they synthesized themselves given their electronics and chemistry knowledge, as part of a ritual they genuinely believed in. The substance killed them. The masks were symbolic, not functional. The notebook was a ceremonial guide. They died alone, high, waiting for a signal that never came. The second theory is homicide. Someone lured them there, administered a fatal substance, willingly or unwillingly, and left. The meeting they kept checking their watches for. Something went wrong or went exactly as planned, depending on who the third man was and what he wanted. The third theory, the one that refuses to die, is the one the UFO community has kept alive for 60 years. That Manoel and Miguel got exactly what they came for. That they made contact. That whatever they encountered, willingly or not, was simply beyond what the human body could survive. No credible evidence supports this, but the case offers no clean refutation either, and that's partly what keeps it alive. There is one detail that investigators never satisfactorily explained: the lead masks themselves. To make them, you need specific knowledge. They're not something you improvise. Someone taught Manoel and Miguel how to construct them. Someone in that circle knew exactly what those masks were for. That person, whoever they were, has never been publicly identified. 60 years on, the lead masks case sits in a category of its own. Not quite true crime, not quite paranormal, not quite cold case. It's something rarer, a mystery that is genuinely unsolved, not because the evidence was lost, but because the world these two men inhabited was so far outside ordinary experience that the tools investigators had simply couldn't reach it. Two men climbed a hill, believing they were going to make contact with something extraordinary. Whatever happened next, accident, murder, or something else entirely, took the truth with them. The signal never came, or maybe it did, and we're just not equipped to understand what that means. The lead masks case remains officially unsolved,